out that you've got two heavyweights here.
There is just that little difference between our expertise.
And
apparently.
here's the thing. Now we have to find a way to settle this.
Yeah.
There is just that little difference.
We got to settle this somehow. So we've talked about, picking the final score of tonight's game. We've talked about, I still favor we should go with the Cincinnati Bengals Las Vegas Raiders playoff matchup tiebreaker.
No, sir. We are not doing that.
We're still going to pick all the games in the playoffs with Police Chief David Zach, so maybe we just call it even for the regular season.
Nope, no ties. We don't do ties.
The winner of the playoff thing, they claims the national title.
We don't do ties. There's only one way to settle this.
Yep.
There's only one way.
Yeah, and no.
Tonight.
No.
Tonight is the night that your hopes and dreams are dashed.
Again. Like, at this point, what can you do? At this point, how can you hurt a Georgia fan? It can't happen.
Oh.
It's already been done.
Oh, it can happen.
It's already been done.
Oh, it can happen. Oh, there's no doubt it can happen. Because you don't want to admit this, but deep down in your self-deprecating Georgia Bulldog heart, you think if you don't allow yourself to think out loud that you can win this, you can suppress that, I really think we're going to win. This might be the national championship time, and maybe this, when it finally ends. And right about kickoff, you're going to convince yourself that you're going to win. There's no doubt of how this is going to go. I'm a Jets fan. You can't tell me anything about how it works to be a fan of a team that just lets you down constantly. That's the only way this can be settled. The winner of tonight.
No, I'm not doing it because we all know how this game is going to go tonight. Well, Alabama's going to win. What?
We do right now.
We do what?
We know how it's going to go right now. But I have a feeling the closer we get to kickoff, it's going to start creeping in your head that we've never been able to do it, and we're finally here, and tonight is the night.
No, I'm not putting all of it on the line, the season title on the line, on, first off, an unrelated sport. I mean, why, again, would you go with the college football tiebreaker for the NFL?
So we will have a playoff champion as well. That gives Asheville Police Chief David Zach a chance to retain part of his title because we're going to pick every game. We're going to pick the score. We're going to pick it against the number, over-unders, all the things. We will have a freestanding contest for the playoffs.
Okay.
That's why we can't do playoff games.
Gotcha.
And frankly, we agree entirely too much about how that's going to go.
This is very true. Anyway, second hour of the program today is going to be devoted to the national championship game. Can it happen? Can Georgia finally get the monkey off its back and beat Nick Saban and Alabama? It has been 15 years since Georgia beat Alabama in football. 2007 was the last time it happened. They are 0-7 since then. And just some gut-wrenching losses. We'll talk about that in the second hour. Today, of course, it's Black Monday. It is Black Monday. We've got firings in the NFL. And Jeremy and I are going to play the fun little game of, we're going to play NFL match game coming up later on in this hour of who would you hire? If the decision were left to you to fill all 6 of these openings in the NFL, who would the next head coach of X team be?
And there's a good solution for every team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got a wide net of candidates out there. You can find the perfect solution for everybody. Some might be a little harder than others.
But, I mean, nothing that's happened today has been really surprising.
The Miami Dolphins firing Brian Flores was surprising.
But it's not. If you've been listening to what's going on behind the scenes, that Brian Flores doesn't believe in Tua Tagovailoa, which was incredibly obvious. The deteriorating relationship between Chris Greer and Brian Flores. You heard in the top of the hour of the SportsCenter break. One of them had to go. At the end of the day, Chris Greer is drafted reasonably well.
Yes.
If you remember, this team was completely bereft of talent, and it wasn't that long ago. And at the end of the day, it's exactly what I said. I firmly believe the decision to fire Brian Flores was made on the plane coming back from London. You lost to Jacksonville. We don't have anybody on the staff that can be the interim. Because if you look at their staff, I don't, at this point, know who the interim even would have been.
I don't even remember who the offensive coordinators
Eric
are.
Studville.
Who's the other one? They had two of them.
Yeah, which was, and I still maintain that's stupid.
Of course it's stupid. We talked about that in the preseason of how dumb this was because the first early reports out of camp were that Tua couldn't pick up the playbook because he had two different playbooks.
And the thing of it with Brian Flores is, all right, so they won 8 of their last 9. You still got into a position where you expected to be a playoff team and you weren't. Who is the reason that you got in that position? It's Brian Flores. So somebody has to take the fall. 2 years in a row, you're one of the first teams out of the playoffs. Somebody is going to pay the price. It was never going to be Chris Greer.
Right.
And now when I heard it, I immediately did what everybody else did and went, hey, where'd Stephen Ross go to school?
To Michigan. Yeah.
And I told you, so we did a morning show this morning, Overreaction Monday, and I told you, give it just a minute, and the Jim Harbaugh to Miami thing is going to go ballistic. And it did.
And it did for about 10 minutes. And then Stephen Ross immediately came out with a statement that said, no, we're not. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking him away from Michigan.
And that's adorable. If Jim Harbaugh, through Michigan intermediaries, got to Stephen Ross and said, hey, I really want the Miami job, he'd get it. What that tells me is that Jim Harbaugh has no interest in Miami. And I fully believe it's because he does have interest in another job. And it's another job that I fully believe he's going to get.
Okay.
And it's the Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, wait, I said that wrong. Playoff number 5 seed, highest wild card, Las Vegas Raiders.
So dumb. I mean, in a
Your
season,
take on them? Yes, it was. It really was.
Stop that.
I've said that all year. This is not new for me. You've been you have poo-pooed my Las Vegas Raiders.
Your Las Vegas Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. Your Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, you got the Bengals, okay? I mean, I came around on the Bengals too, but you can have that one. You came around quicker than I did.
Look, I mean, Las Vegas did enough to make the playoffs, and that's all fine and well and good.
And I'm not completely convinced that they don't stick around for a second.
They ain't gonna. They'll stick around for half of a quarter.
We have long said we were going to do live reaction videos to games.
Yes.
First one, Wild Card Weekend, 4:30, Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's right. This Saturday we will be doing a special afternoon podcast or a web stream of our live reactions of the Cincinnati Bengals completely dismantling the Las Vegas Raiders and ending all of this craziness that has surrounded the Raiders this year.
That's weird. That's the weirdest way I've ever heard somebody say losing. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say lose that way.
Not gonna happen.
I'm looking forward to it. We talked about doing.
I just jinxed it.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Tank Spencer kiss of death is on this so firmly.
I'm okay. Look, Las Vegas Raiders have already chimed in. Don't do it now.
No.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, you do not have a seat on this bandwagon. I saved you one for quite some time, and you wouldn't take it.
Nope.
You do not have a seat.
Not taking it.
We are not allowing to ruin our fun.
No, that's fine. I will continue to poo-poo away, and you'll see who's right on Saturday.
And I have a feeling it's going to be me.
Not so fast, right? My friend.
Hey, who was right about how the Beat the Chief was going to go?
Yeah,
I believe somebody
you did call that on Friday.
I believe somebody, Babe Ruth, pointed to the fence and called their shot on that one.
You did.
And it was this guy.
You did. You were off by one game, though. Because you thought that we were going to be tied going into that last game.
Secret time, I thought I was right up until like 8:30 this morning. I had already planned it out. There was going to be a Ric Flair entrance to the web stream this morning. And then I remembered you took the stupid 49ers.
Yeah. I had the 49ers plus the 4.5, and I got the game winner wrong, but at least I bet it right according to the spread. But to me today, Miami, that was the big surprise, because we fully expected Mike Zimmer done. Matt Nagy, fans have been chanting for a year now to fire him, so that was never not going to happen.
That game appeared enough yesterday on Red Zone. If you're a fan of either of those two teams and you aren't on board with your coach being fired, you do not understand what football's supposed to look like.
It all kicked off on yesterday when the Broncos decided to fire Vic Fangio,
and thankfully so.
Mm-hmm.
We have several very wonderful Denver Bronco fans that listen to the show, and for their sake, I was really, really rooting for Vic Fangio to not be your head coach today.
Right.
I never want somebody to lose their job, but here's the thing about Vic Fangio. He's going to be a defensive coordinator somewhere, if he wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
He can go home and call it a career if he wants to, because I think he's 64 years old. If he doesn't want to, there are plenty of good young offensive minds that are going to get head coaching jobs in this league that would love to have him run their defense.
He can go back to Chicago if he wants to. Be the defensive coordinator for whoever they hire as their offense, or as their, what I think should be an offensive head coach, but
I don't.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
I don't. And I had to be convinced. Somebody had to take me down the path of exactly how it was going to go. But now that's probably the one I'm the most confident of exactly how it's going to go.
Right. But you got 6 openings this year. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, of course, fired Urban Meyer. The Bears and Matt Nagy, Mike Zimmer and the Vikings, Vic Fangio and the Broncos, Brian Flores and the Dolphins. And then what are the Las Vegas Raiders going to do? Are they going to hire that? Are they going to get that home run hire? Or are they going to stick with their special teams coordinator turned head coach, interim head coach, Rich Bisaccia?
Well, I think they can have the best of both worlds, and we'll talk about that in the next segment.
Yep.
But, I mean, first of all, above all else, credit to Rich Bisaccia for getting this team to the playoffs. If that team had just folded and laid down like an old dog next to the radiator, I don't think anybody would have critiqued them that hard.
No.
As many things as happened with that team, for you to make the playoffs is awe-inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
And now, not only did you make the playoffs, you were the number 1 wild card. Which is just tremendous.
It's dumb. It's
so
absolutely
good.
dumb.
There is nothing more fitting to me that, A, we tied and beat the Chiefs.
Right.
That it was your Chargers losing to my Raiders is what kicked us into a tie. And the fact that before this 2-hour show is over, I fully believe I'm going to convince you to take your Georgia Bulldogs tonight, and that will be what ultimately gives me the title.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen because I think it's dumb that Georgia's even a favorite in this game.
Oh,
has that line even moved?
No.
It's still at 3. Georgia -3. Just, wow. That's baffling to me. But has there ever been another flub job as big as the Indianapolis Colts did over the last 2 weeks?
I mean, I could argue the Los Angeles Chargers were right there with them.
Yeah.
All you had to do was just not call a timeout, and I'm reasonably sure that Rich Bisaccia would have just gone, well, we're in anyway. So let's just go home. That's fine. You can go
just
too.
ended in a tie, and they would not have kicked the field goal.
And then Brandon Staley just in mind-boggling fashion goes, no, timeout. But why? But why would you do that?
You called the timeout with, 38 seconds left? Something like that. And
what, do you think you're going to get the ball back,
right.
dum-dum? That's not how this works.
I mean, they did make a personnel change during the timeout. So, I mean, maybe they were caught off guard a little bit. I don't know.
But, I mean, yeah, Indianapolis. And I'll be honest with you. I said this morning, and I stick by it. If I was the Indianapolis Colts, Frank Reich would not have a job today. You cannot lose a game like that. You can't. You cannot go up against a team that is as listless as the Jacksonville Jaguars, has absolutely nothing to play for. Coaching staff's already been fired. They probably already cleaned out their offices so they didn't have to go back to work on Monday.
Right.
And you looked like the Jacksonville Jaguars. You had nothing going offensively. You went away from Jonathan Taylor, put everything in the hands of Carson Wentz for about the 6th time this year, and it's the 5th time you lost.
Right.
All you had to do was not do that one time you make the playoffs.
There's got to be a conversation with Frank Reich of, okay, are you done with this Carson Wentz thing? Can you please? Can we please move on, do something different? I mean, I get he's still under contract for another year, right? So, I mean, maybe you go the Nick Foles route with him and just bench him And just start the process of finding your next quarterback.
Well, the thing with Carson Wentz is this has not been hard to figure out. We talked about it all year long. The only thing you have to not do is give him carte blanche to do whatever he wants to. Mm-hmm. That's what you did yesterday, and how'd that work out for you?
Right.
Your offense was pathetic. But I will say, I saw in Trevor Lawrence yesterday what it was we talked about when he was coming through the pre-draft process. I saw that Andrew Luck, John Elway, Peyton Manning level prospect. And if you're Jacksonville, you have to look at it and go, well, I mean, it took 18 weeks, but we finally got one encouraging sign.
Right.
And I saw it in Zach Wilson, too.
And it came up in a game where, your opponent had to have it, and you took it away from him. That is something to hang your hat on.
You got to play spoiler
Yep.
in a game that meant absolutely nothing to you. And if you're Indianapolis, you have to be introspectively looking at yourself going, what in the world happened? Mm-hmm. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that there wasn't a brawny man doppelganger that told you all year long the best team that was going to miss the playoffs was going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Yep. And that would be your Beat the Chief future champion. Me. Not
so fast, my friend. We are tied, and we have still not decided how we are going to finish this thing off. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We're always live in the Ingles studio, and the first hour of the program is brought to you by Ingles. Low prices, love the savings. Coming up after the break, we will play the NFL match game. 6 open spots for head coaches in the NFL. Who's the perfect person to fill those slots?
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder for us here tonight, mainly clear skies, still a bit windy out there with a gusty west to northwest wind, although winds are decreasing as we head through the night tonight. Temperatures all the way down to near 19 overnight. Mostly sunny skies for us as we head through the day on Tuesday. Less wind, highs low 40s. Clear skies, low 20s Tuesday night. Sunshine Wednesday with an afternoon high in the low 50s. I'm Ken Boone from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
What's that? Oh, you hate your job. Well, just spreak up a little. Right, not speak up. Spreak up. If you have something to say, you have a passion you could spend hours talking about every day, if you've always fantasized about doing a podcast, you just have to spreak up. That's what we call it over at Spreaker.com. Spreaker for my heart. It's the easiest way to podcast and get paid for it. So, spreak up. Spreak for yourself. Spreak your mind. Spreak now or forever hold your peace. Spreaker.com.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather?
I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while, and I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do, and everybody just said surgery, and surgery was months of rehab, and I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
And you can tell anybody who's suffering that there are options that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today, 828-333-9517.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
This week at Ingalls, select sizes and varieties Cheez-It crackers, 2 for $6. Select sizes and varieties Dunkin' Bag or K-Cup coffee, $4.98 each. And select sizes and varieties General Mills cereal, 2 for $5. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy as we play NFL head coach match game. Yeah, it's one of the greatest theme songs of all time for a game show.
It's also one of the greatest game shows of all time.
Yeah, I don't remember it all that well.
Oh, it's Richard Dawson and what was that other guy's name? It'll come to me. Charles Nelson Riley.
Charles Nelson Riley.
Literally, you could tell me, why was he famous? Because he did Match Game. That's
and
why
Hollywood
he was famous.
Squares. And he did Hollywood Squares a lot, too.
Those studios must have been right beside each
Betty
other.
White, one of the best Match Game participants of all time. R.I.P.
I don't know that I ever saw Betty White.
She was on there a bunch.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever saw that. Most of them, I had to play the fun game of, hey, why are you famous? Because I don't know.
Well, it also probably didn't help the fact that you were watching, 10-year-old episodes.
Oh, at least. At least.
And you had no clue who these people were from television. Like, and welcome in the guy who played Klinger from MASH. It's Jamie Farr.
Well, they've tried to bring that show back like 6 times.
Have they?
Oh, yeah. And I see new celebrities, and I still go, hey, why are you famous?
Let me guess. Wayne Brady was the host.
I think Michael Strahan hosted. Actually, you know what? I think they did have one with Wayne Brady. Wayne Brady's done like everything.
Yeah.
He also hosts Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah. He's like the Joe Buck of game shows.
It works.
He'll do anything and everything as long as he can get his time on the screen.
I like Wayne Brady.
We got 6 openings in the NFL, though. Head coaching openings with Black Monday coming around here. And, all right, so first up on the match game.
And we're going to play this exactly like match game.
Okay.
So the first one's the Chicago Bears.
Uh-huh.
The McCaskey family is so traditional.
How traditional are they?
They're so traditional that invariably they're going to hire a coach that has some kind of tradition with the Chicago Bears. And what better coach to do that than member of the 85 Bears himself, Bills defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier.
That sounds gross.
It does, and it did to me too, because I've heard this name attached to the Bears forever. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie, I forgot he was on the 85 Bears.
Mm-hmm.
This is a hire that can get the fan base. But he brings somebody with him that doesn't get the credit they deserve.
Okay.
Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey becomes the offensive coordinator. I firmly believe that's who's actually done the work with Josh Allen. Because, look,
But it's Brian Daboll's turn.
I watched Brian Daboll. Okay, I've seen this. I watched Brian Daboll. I watched him run Mark Sanchez into the rocks. I'm good.
Right.
I don't trust you with Justin Fields.
I don't think too many people could have done much.
I think Ken Dorsey. Look, Sanchez had talent. Okay, just you take your Sanchez hate and you get somewhere. Okay, I think Ken Dorsey is a future coach in this league.
Okay,
if you would remember, Ken Dorsey, he was the coach of the 2000 or the quarterback of the 2000 national champion Miami Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a really good coach. And if Leslie Frazier could convince him to be his offensive coordinator, I think that's the best pairing you got. Because the problem is, if you think about, and we did this before the show, this is the one we really struggled with. Who could take the Bears job that you feel really good about? Nathaniel Hackett, just because he's in the division?
No, not going to happen.
Well, I would like that hire, but I don't think he's interested. I think you're going to have to get somebody that's not going to have a slew of other opportunities. This is the worst job on the market.
Right. Why would I not continue to be the offensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers if I didn't have any other options? Why would I leave that job to go in the division with a bad team? and a quarterback that I don't really know is going to be a star in this league.
And I'm sure a lot of people don't love this decision. I don't love this hire. I have literally used the two coordinators in Buffalo as the be careful before you fire your coach. The Bears are different. This is the same fan base that absolutely killed me for saying they were going to fire Matt Nagy in the season because, we don't do that.
Right.
It's a different fan base. You got to find somebody that's connected to the good days to really incite them. You can't look. I think Doug Peterson.
Rivera.
Doug Peterson's probably the best hire.
Yeah, but
and yeah,
there's
Kellen
too much
Moore,
history. There's too many tangles that go in with that. There's too many
Matt
tentacles.
Nagy's his best friend.
Right.
He's not taking that job.
No.
Kellen Moore. He's not taking that job. Kellen Moore is so young in this league that he didn't take the job at Boise State. His alma mater, because he was afraid it would keep him from getting potentially another shot in the NFL.
He loves those colors, though. He does love those colors.
The Bears colors?
No, the others. He loves those Boise State colors. And he may end up with a team that has those same kind of colors.
And that's kind of where it falls apart for Kellen Moore because he can take pretty much any job he wants.
Yes, he will be able to take his choice. And why would he go to a team that, like I said, has limited weapons? There's no Allen Robinson, right?
No, he's gone.
Allen Robinson's not coming back.
So you've got Darnell Mooney, limited draft capital because you gave up your first-round pick to get Justin Fields.
Yep.
So this is going to be a job where you're not going to get the guy you exactly want. But Leslie Frazier can be encouraging to the fan base. Takes you back to the glory days. Look at Jim McMahon. Okay, anytime his name is said around Chicago Bear fans, they lose their mind.
Right.
Leslie Frazier could do the same thing. And you bring in a young guy in Ken Dorsey that I think can mold Justin Fields.
Chicago Bears did have some success when they had Lovie Smith as their head coach. A defensive coordinator becomes the head coach. Chicago's always been about the defense, so I can see where Leslie Frazier makes a little bit of sense. All right, let's get just a bit outside.
The Sports Tag.
Just a bit outside.
All right, here's the 411, folks.
All right, it's hard for me to say something nice about the team that I'm getting ready to say something nice about, but I feel like today is a momentous occasion. There is a barrier being broken. There is, dare I say, a glass ceiling being shattered.
Oh, here it comes. He's going to take the Georgia thing. He's going to take the Georgia thing.
No, This is baseball. It's a baseball story, and the New York Yankees are doing something that no one has ever done before. They are turning over the reins of their low-A team in Tampa, the Tampa Tarpons. They're turning it over to Rachel Blakovic. She will be the first minor league female manager in history. She's been a hitting coach with the New York Yankees. She has worked in several organizations as well. She's 34 years old, and she spent some time overseas working with, I think it was the Netherlands baseball and softball organization. She's basically been in strength and conditioning, but now she's going to get her chance to manage a team. And it's going to be in low-A ball this year for the New York Yankees, for the Tampa Tarpons. Again, will it work? I don't know. But I love the thinking outside the box. And, it wasn't. We have seen more and more women be involved in Major League Baseball hires. The Red Sox hired, a top executive, female executive over the last couple of years. And, I think this is going to be good. It's definitely a monumental day for women in baseball. Rachel Blakovic, the new skipper for the Tampa Tarpons.
My story's not groundbreaking. It's also not surprising.
Well, way to just follow that up.
Well, I had to have a segue, and our stories have absolutely nothing to do with each other, so that's the best I had. If you've been to Indianapolis, you probably know what St. Elmo's Steakhouse is. It's a very nice, very
I've heard of the Fire, but I've never heard
no,
of...
it's not St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, okay.
It's St. Elmo's Steakhouse. It's a very high-end, 5-star steakhouse in Indianapolis. Well, last night, apparently a lot of your fellow Bulldogs showed up at St. Elmo's Steakhouse to enjoy a meal before you ultimately get decimated by Alabama tonight.
Oh, stop that.
Well, Bulldog's gonna Bulldog.
Yeah.
What is it that your fan base loves to do inside the stadium?
Make lots of noise.
Yeah, including barking and something called calling the dogs. I don't really know what that is, but it's this really annoying chant that they started inside a 5-star restaurant because it was almost all Georgia fans.
Oh no!
I'm a little dumbfounded that there were this many Georgia fans
and
in this room because literally the video pans across the entire room. Virtually everyone's doing it.
Right.
So I guess a Georgia fan club decided, hey, we're going to go to St. Elmo's.
Yeah.
And they took every table. Well, there's only one problem.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the staff and the management of St. Elmo's did not love this because they called the cops who then came in and literally went table to table to tell every group how to behave in a 5-star restaurant.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hilarious. The first of many L's the Georgia Bulldogs are going to take this evening.
Like you can, what is it? You can take the Athens out of the dog, but you can't take the dog out of. I don't know. There's some saying in there somewhere. Don't do that. Show a little bit of class.
Oh,
I'm not really shocked though. I mean, look, Georgia fandom was something that I married into, and. It's pretty much like my wife's family. There's a large portion of it that I don't really want a whole lot to do with, but there are a couple of good eggs in there somewhere.
Jordan DeVore, one of our great Facebook viewers. Yeah. We are now live on Facebook as well. You don't have to watch on YouTube. You can watch on Facebook as well. All we ask is that you share it because that makes everything work out so lovely. Jordan DeVore said St. Elmo's has the best shrimp cocktail in the country. I've eaten in this steakhouse. Mm-hmm. I do not remember anything about it. Mm-hmm. I remember it being very good, but when I saw the picture, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember this place because it kind of looks like the inside of a Shoney's, but it is a high-end, 5-star restaurant. It doesn't look 5-star.
Okay.
But it totally is, and it's very, very good.
Do they have, the wood paneling on the walls and stuff?
Yeah. And they've got the painted glass.
Giant buffet bar in the middle? No, it's not that kind of restaurant.
And I'm going to tell you something, just low key.
Mm-hmm.
Indianapolis is one of the top 5 most underrated cities in the country.
Okay.
I've been there a few times. They have a lot of good restaurants. And, what does Jeremy like to do when he travels?
Drink.
You said that, not me, but I wish you hadn't said it so quickly or so forcefully.
Well, I'm sorry.
But you're exactly right. That's what I was after. They have a lot of good places to do that as well.
Well, I mean, at least it's not Cincinnati. We never did talk about that, by the way. Joe Burrow came out and said, oh, it's a good thing that there's nothing to do in Cincinnati. None of us get COVID. I believe the Cincinnati Chamber of Commerce had a little strongly worded email out to the quarterback of their football team.
Let me be really honest with you about Joe Burrow right now. Joe Burrow could could literally light a cigar in the mayor's office, mm-hmm. and they would still love him.
Oh, absolutely.
There is nothing Joe Burrow can do wrong in Cincinnati.
Indianapolis. Okay, apparently a happening place, according to Mr. Jeremy Greene. I've never lost anything and never had a desire to even want to go to Indianapolis.
Secret time, I filed for a media cred for the Combine.
Uh-huh.
Every year we've been doing this. Never been approved.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. You can do some fun stuff if you just approve me. But it's because I like Indianapolis so much. Mm-hmm. They are tight. Did you say they're talking about moving the Combine?
No.
They're looking at moving it to Vegas or L.A.
That won't be a distraction.
Yeah, L.A. won't happen, but Vegas could.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does, you won't turn me down because I'll just sit outside and scratch at the door. Knock and scratch.
It's one of those things they have a giant stadium. That's the only thing alluring about Indianapolis.
It's a cool city.
I'd go there for the Final Four or for a national championship game, if I weren't cheap as dirt.
And by the way, it houses things like that tremendously well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I got a buddy that works in news up in Indianapolis. Just never saw the purpose of Indianapolis. All right.
I mean, if he's ever just looking for somebody to hang out with, I'll go.
You'll go. You'll be glad to go with him. All right. All right. NFL head coach match game. Here it is. Round number 2
famous John doesn't do so much, doesn't do hiring so well. But now he's going to correct a mistake because he's fired, because Vic Fangio is no longer there. The decision is George Payton's, and the next head coach of the Denver Broncos will be Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore.
Yes, he will. It fits the color scheme. He likes that. He needs to go work for the Broncos again.
And here's the thing. Here's one of the things that I've only heard this once today. One of the appeals of the Miami Dolphins to Deshaun Watson was Brian Flores. Now that Brian Flores is not there are a lot of people that think that Deshaun Watson will be open to other places. Seattle is putting it well out that Russell Wilson's not going anywhere.
No.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere.
Nope.
So your quarterback options are getting limited. Deshaun Watson, and now this is taking his legal issues out because we say this on the show all the time. We're not lawyers. We're not cops. We have no idea.
Right.
We're only talking about on the field. If you put Deshaun Watson on that team with Kellen Moore, that could be a Super Bowl team next year.
Very well could be.
They're the only one that has an opening that I feel that way about.
I would agree. And to me, Kellen Moore makes all the sense in the world. I mean, he's, you want to, in this day and age, get a coach who can maximize your offense. You already have a defense and defensive stars in place that could be pretty dang good in this league. Did you lose Von Miller this year? Sure, but that was an aging situation, and it was never going to get any better. You've done a pretty good job on that on the defensive side of the ball. You need to make sure that the offense is going to click on all cylinders. It's the one thing that they were missing, in my opinion, with the Vic Fangio regime. He's not an offensive guy. Couldn't make it work. And then they brought in Pat Shurmur. Woo! I could imagine Kellen Moore having a whole lot of fun with Deshaun Watson and those wide receivers, because I think
the weapons are tremendous.
Denver is in a position where they need to hit a home run at quarterback, and you're, like you said, immediately you're a contender, not only in your division but in the conference and the league as a whole.
The only thing about Kellen Moore, and it's one of the things that I always say about first-time head coaches, who are you going to hire? He needs to have a high-end defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn, it's obviously not going to be Dan Quinn. Going to be somebody on the staff? Possibly. I would like it better if it was one of a coach that's been a head coach in this league that can take care of the defense.
Okay. Number 3 on the match game list is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Shad Khan loves his mustache. He also loves himself. And while he just hired his longtime crush, that didn't quite work out. So now he's going to have to turn to a trusty old favorite in Jacksonville because the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars should be former starting quarterback, Buccaneers offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich.
Yes. Byron has got, he's got the it factor. I think he's got the it factor to be a long-term head coach in this league. Will he be successful going to Jacksonville? I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question. But I feel like a guy who used to be a quarterback in this league and has worked with Tom Brady for the last 2 years. And, he had some experience as well with the Jameis Winston experience in Tampa Bay. Didn't turn out too bad of stats with Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay. I feel like he could be the guy to shepherd Trevor Lawrence into his career.
Jacksonville is one of those fan bases that Shad Khan was never really the meddling owner as long as there was somebody there that he trusted. The Urban Meyer thing was a pipe dream for him forever. He wanted to hire Urban Meyer for years, and when he got the opportunity, he did. This is one of those times that you're going to have to let the football people do the football things. Byron Leftwich is the perfect fit there. Played quarterback in this league, played quarterback in this town, knows how this goes, and I think he can be a really good head coach in this league. For him, one of the things that I always knocked him on was that, well, you basically had Tom the entire time you've been a coordinator. Well, you got to think about that. You've had Tom the entire time you've been a coordinator, and there hasn't been that many goofy things that have happened.
Right.
If you take Antonio Brown's name out of it, virtually nothing goofy has happened the entire time he's been there. And you deserve a little credit for that. Tom's not the easiest person to deal with. He's just not. And the fact that a first-time offensive coordinator has handled this as well as he has, the offense has been as good as he has. Now, has he been hands-off and, hey, Tom, you just got to lead the way? Maybe.
And that's the question everybody has he just been, since Bruce Arians is there and Tom is there, has he just kind of been holding the leash on this puppy?
And one of the things that I would absolutely love, and Adam Black said it in our YouTube comments, he said it about Kellen Moore, I'm going to say it about Byron Leftwich. I would absolutely love if Byron Leftwich got the job and brought Brian Flores to be his defensive coordinator.
Okay. All right. Number 4 in the match game, the Miami Dolphins just got rid of Brian Flores. What are they going to do now?
And this is kind of I've always said this about dating. When you date somebody that's a little bit of a wild card, your next one tends to be a little safer.
Mm-hmm.
The Miami Dolphins just had an ugly and very sanctimonious breakup because Chris Greer really didn't like Brian Flores, which means I think they're going to go the opposite way and hire somebody that has universally been said to be one of the nicest people on the planet Earth, Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett.
The guy's a rising star in this league, and he has all the faith of Aaron Rodgers, and I feel like that goes a long way. Just like Byron Leftwich with Tom Brady. When Tom Brady says this dude needs a head coaching job, the league's going to listen. Same thing with Nathaniel Hackett. When Aaron Rodgers says this guy needs more respect, he needs a head coaching job, the league should listen.
He's been successful practically everywhere he's ever gone. And yeah, the best it's ever been is in Green Bay. But he's been there with Aaron Rodgers for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's still only 42 years old. And he's been an offensive coordinator for over a decade. His first offensive coordinator job, he was 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
At Syracuse, and it was the last time Syracuse was actually relevant. This is a smart guy. And if you watch that Packer offense, they don't have a lot of weapons, and he's gotten around that. He's one of my favorite hires in this cycle. And I think Miami's one of the most ready-made to be competitive now jobs.
I'd agree.
And I think you could I think Nathaniel Hackett could put together a very solid staff.
Mm-hmm. And the question is, how are you gonna orchestrate the defense? What's going to happen there? But I think first and foremost, your number one priority has to be Tua.
Because Tua's going to be your quarterback.
Yeah, Tua is your quarterback.
Deshaun Watson
now
was the only other quarterback that could possibly be under center in week 1. I don't think it's going to happen.
Could they still convince Deshaun Watson to come to Miami without Brian Flores?
Possibly.
Maybe so.
Possibly.
But I think at this point, Tua has shown enough growth. And here's the thing, Brian Flores and those offensive coordinators that he's been working with, again, I said this about him last year, and it happened again this year. They haven't really turned him loose, let him do anything. It was never in the game plan for him to try to stretch the field, which I feel like he can do at this next level. Let's bring somebody in there who's going to test him.
And one of the things Chuck G said in our comments, just don't forget that Nathaniel Hackett has a really good relationship with Mr. Rodgers.
Right.
And if somehow that relationship doesn't continue, then you could possibly see a combination of Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we determined definitively Jordan Love is not a quarterback in this league.
No, that is
you
clear.
Lost to the Lions.
That is clear from yesterday's game, yes. The Minnesota Vikings, they have fired, I almost called him Don Zimmer, Mike Zimmer. They have fired Mike Zimmer. Where are they going to go?
The Minnesota Vikings' next coach is probably not going to have the sparkling dating record of their former head coach. And he was a gruff little...
weird-looking dude.
Little feller. So, what do? You get rid of a gruff coach, you bring in somebody that everybody around him has always liked. The perfect next coach of the Minnesota Vikings, Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy.
And finally, he would get a job after looking for what seems like a decade. Now, in the NFL, he's been the top guy in the last 2 coaching cycles, and he hasn't gotten a job. Yeah, he hasn't gotten a job because he's been working.
Well, here's the thing. 2 of the most popular guys last year, Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles. Entirely possible that both of them get a job this year because you don't go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to wait that long. I don't think Kansas City's going to win the AFC. This has been a weird year. Kansas City's defense has given me every pause for cause. And I don't think they're going to win this. I think this is the year he gets a job, and I've tried to figure out where he would fit the best.
Mm-hmm.
The first job Eric Bieniemy ever got was as the running backs coach for the Minnesota Vikings in 2 years that Adrian Peterson led the NFL in rushing.
And finally, the Las Vegas Raiders. They got a big decision to make. Do you keep Rich Bisaccia, or do you try to hit the home run?
This was one of the hardest ones. The Las Vegas Raiders have had a very tumultuous year, and many weird things have happened. And many will want them to keep interim coach Rich Bisaccia. But the perfect next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders is Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh.
Ain't no doubt about it. That is the home run call here.
I have been told he wants this job. The players want Bisaccia. I feel like this is one of those times that you look at Harbaugh and go, look, you can do anything you want. You can bring in your own personnel guys. We will give you carte blanche to do whatever you want to with this team. But we're a playoff team, and we have to do right by Rich. Rich has a spot on your staff.
Yes.
Associate head coach, special teams coordinator, whatever it is, to keep, because he has done a great job. But I think for the long term, you cannot. I can't be that guy. I can't be the guy that always condemns people when they give the longtime loyal coach the job, because it almost invariably ends in the middle of the ocean and on fire.
Yep.
I can't do that. But you do have to do right by the guy, because he did right the ship and get you to the playoffs. I think the perfect scenario is they hire Harbaugh and he brings Bisaccia in as an associate head coach.
I think that is a perfect example of, you know what, you're just not ready for this stage. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that. Rich Bisaccia has done a fine job leading this team. Of course, they surpassed every expectation that I had for him this year. Ended up making the playoffs as the 5 seed. So why shouldn't he get the head coaching job just flat out? But this is dream scenario. Jim Harbaugh, he is the home run that the Las Vegas Raiders need to hit. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Greene on Greene. The picks of the night are coming up next.
Here in Beer City, we take homegrown seriously. And since 2012, Wicked Weed Brewing has been pushing the boundaries of the industry. They've not only created staples like the Freak of Nature Doubled IPA, Lieutenant Dank, and Pernicious, but they also opened the first sour beer tap room on the East Coast. Wicked Weed has also supported our local community to the tune of $1.6 million with the Beers That Build program. Visit one of their 4 locations, schedule a brewery tour, or place an order for pickup or delivery. WickedWeedBrewing.com.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
There's an app for everything. And I bet you have multiple apps on your phone just to order food, get a ride, or even find a date. But we made the iHeartRadio app your all-in-one app. Your favorite music, radio stations, and podcasts together, and all for free. Listen to your favorite radio station anywhere you want, plus all your favorite music and just about every podcast in the world, all in one place with one touch. Download the free iHeartRadio app today. iHeartRadio. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
Hey, it's Tank Spencer, host of the Sportsocracy. It's a new year, and Jeremy and I are taking on a new challenge. We're teaming up with PhD Weight Loss to get healthier in 2022.
When the opportunity presented itself with PhD, Tank and I knew we could stand to lose a few pounds.
A few? Really?
Okay, it's a lot. Our combined weight loss goal is 200 pounds. But when we sat down with Dr. Ashley Lucas, she told us just how attainable those goals could be. During our initial consultation, we were impressed by her enthusiasm for our success. And the biggest upside is the convenience.
This plan is so easy it can fit into the most hectic of schedules. They even have an option where you can do the program 100% over the phone. I've tried numerous diet plans and lifestyle changes, but I've never found one that's this simple. I mean, PhD gives you 80% of the food and the pathway to success. In 1 month, I've lost 19 pounds.
And I've lost 16. If your goal is to get healthier in the new year, join us on our PhD transformation.
Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
Saving at the Home Depot means you can do more for less. like upgrading your kitchen with a top-rated Samsung kitchen suite, a smart range with air fry, a smart cooling system refrigerator, and a dishwasher with advanced quiet cycles. And with free delivery, the savings come to you. Shop in-store, online, or in the Home Depot app. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. Valid 1/6 through 1/26/2022. Free delivery on orders of $396 or more.
Welcome back to the quickest podcast ever, brought to you by Kohl's.
Today's topic, exercise.
You know, the right gear makes all the difference.
Sure does, which is why I went to Kohl's and got an Adidas hoodie for my husband and some Under Armour gear for myself.
Is shopping your cardio?
More like my motivation. I also picked up some Nike sneakers for my son.
Oh, family workouts.
That's the goal. Select styles. Coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Coffee's the closers on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
One of the important things to learn in gambling is when things don't go well, you got to change the way you think. So we're going to try that out in this segment. I got 5 on it's been great. This segment I've seemed to be 1-2 or 2-1 every day of the new year. 4 picks, 3 in the NBA. 1 in the national title game tonight. We'll start with Alabama because, well, you already know where I'm going in that. Mm-hmm. I like Nick Saban. Not personally like him, but I like what he can do with a team. I cannot lay doubloons against Alabama, but that 3 scares me. I'm going to take Alabama in the money line to win outright. I don't, we're just play it safe with the money line. I want the extra payoff. It's plus 110 if you take them in the money line. It's minus 110 if you take them against the 3. I'm confident you win. Give me Alabama. The Charlotte Hornets play the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. I'm taking Charlotte in money line. I don't want to mess with the number here. Charlotte is a 2-point favorite, 2-point dog. One side of that. Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to play. Nobody else is. There's no Drew Holiday. There's no Brook Lopez. This Milwaukee team is not the same without all of the ancillary pieces. There's no Grayson Allen tonight. As a matter of fact, I think I said this backwards. I think the only 2 they actually have are Giannis and Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
This team's not very good with just the 2 of them. I think Charlotte's going to win this game outright. Give me the Hornets in the money line.
And the Hornets just beat them 2 days ago.
They did, and that was with basically the same cast of characters that you're going to see tonight.
Right.
The Indiana Pacers are a 6.5-point favorite, or point dog, at the Boston Celtics tonight. I don't care about the number. I'm taking the Pacers in the money line. Vegas is sleeping on Indiana. I have bashed this team. The addition, just log this under things I never thought I would say. The addition of Lance Stevenson has completely changed the Indiana Pacers. I don't just think they're going to cover the 6.5 tonight. I think they're going to win. Give me the Indiana Pacers plus 215 in the money line to win outright. Finally, the Utah Jazz travel to Detroit tonight to take on the Pistons. I don't care who's going to win this game because it's going to be impossible to watch. And the reason it's going to be impossible to watch is because you got 2 teams. One's hurt and one's just bad. The over-under is 224, and that is egregiously too high. I'm going under the 224.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
And if you take those 4 to betus.com, use our promo code SPORTSOCRACY, they will give you a 125% deposit match, which means if you put in $100, they will give you 125 in free play tokens that you can use on the 4 picks of tonight. And if you parlay them together, you can take a $10 wager and turn it into a $267 prize.
It has been 15 years of grossness when Georgia faces off against Alabama. Doesn't matter where, national championship, SEC championship, regular season, Alabama has gotten the better of Georgia 7 straight times. Can tonight be any different? A lot of people that believe that it can. I'm seeing more and more people jumping on the Georgia bandwagon to win tonight in the national championship game. We will break it down coming up for you next, right here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Check us out at thesportsocracy.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder for us here tonight, mainly clear skies, still a bit windy out there with a gusty west to northwest wind, although winds are decreasing as we head through the night tonight. Temperatures all the way down to near 19 overnight. Mostly sunny skies for us as we head through the day on Tuesday. Less wind, highs low 40s. Clear skies, low 20s Tuesday night. Sunshine Wednesday with an afternoon high in the low 50s. I'm Ken Boone from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
Compassion International has a network of over 300 church partners in Haiti, poised to bring critical relief to those suffering because of the recent earthquake. Make your $40 one-time gift now by texting the keyword radio to 97646.
Being a real estate agent isn't about listing houses. It's about connecting to people. I need to find new buyers every day, so I promote my listings using radio commercials from iHeartAdBuilder.com. Now every time I have an open house, it's a full house.
A custom radio ad from iHeart Ad Builder is the fast, affordable way to drive customers to your business. Put the power of radio to work for you. Get started now at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Hello, this is Discover, and we take customer service very seriously. We know that if you have a question or concern about your credit card, that's a serious matter, and you need to talk to a real person about it. So we offer around-the-clock access to seriously talented representatives in the USA. Again, it's a serious endeavor. The only funny thing about it is Bob. If you call us and Bob answers, you're in for a treat. Get 100% US-based customer service and talk to a real person day or night. Discover. Exceptionally common sense.
Okay, dads, it's time to do the Cabbage Patch, the Running Man, or something more contemporary, the Floss. Dance like a dad. Learn more at fatherhood.gov. Sponsored by the Ad Council.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine Lisi. A college football champion will be crowned tonight. SEC rivals Alabama and Georgia clash in the College Football Playoff National Championship game. MegaCast begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN TV, and other ESPN platforms. The Dolphins with an unexpected move on this Monday. They fired Coach Brian Flores. ESPN's Jeff Darlington reporting he was dismissed because of his deteriorating relationships with GM Chris Greer and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Monday Night Football analyst Louis Riddick.
It's surprising to me that the general manager stays and Brian goes. But look, this is an organization that right now, they have a lot of nice pieces to work with down there. And now it'll just be important that Stephen Ross really gets someone to really pair with their general manager to kind of have the kind of relationship that they want, which obviously was something that they didn't have.
Louis Riddick on This Just In. The Bears fired Coach Matt Nagy and GM Ryan Pace. The Vikings fired Coach Mike Zimmer and GM Rick Spielman. This offseason for the Giants will include a search for a new general manager. Dave Gettleman announcing his retirement as senior vice president and GM. New York had 4 straight losing seasons in his 4-year tenure. Coach Joe Judge expected to return to the Giants.
If you want to find quality new hires in the new year, post on Indeed. When you sponsor a post, you'll get matched instantly with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Pay. That's pay. Enter it on our station website now.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingalls Supermarkets and Wicked Weed Brewing.
And welcome back into the Ingalls studio here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy is live and heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get in on the comment section as well. Tonight is the night. It is January the 10th, 2022. It has been 42 year. Well, yeah, a little bit. 40 years and some change since the Georgia Bulldogs have won a national championship. And tonight, they have a shot. They got a shot.
Oh, I want you all to remember that he said that way. Because I have a funny feeling that by 4:55 of today, he will have been completely convinced that his team is going to win this game, and he will be on the Georgia Bulldogs.
Are you going to convince me?
I already called my shot once. I called my shot Friday of exactly how Beat the Chief was going to go. Our loyal fans have basically said that you should have to take Georgia tonight to decide the tiebreaker, or you should forfeit. I haven't said that out loud.
Or I should forfeit.
That's actually been said twice. You should have to take Georgia, or you have to forfeit. And I believe that you're going to convince yourself in this hour of national title talk.
It's just I've been through too much. I've been through too much to believe until it happens. I have been this way with every sports franchise I have ever pulled for. I was born and raised a Boston Red Sox fan, and I knew we never win. We're never going to win. And then something happened. Something happened in 2004 that you couldn't really explain why. It was just finally it happened. And you had to wait 86 years to get it. I wore my Red Sox jacket this morning to work just to remind myself of, you've been knocking on the door, and that's cool. You got a place in college football lore, maybe as just always the bridesmaid, never a bride. But this has been an era of Georgia football that you always have your hopes up, and then they let you down. I mean, it's been, 15 years? Was it 2007? I think was back when Matt Stafford was in school, and it was the Matt Stafford, A.J. Greene, no Sean Moreno, number one team in the country going into the season. And then Mark Richt did Mark Richt things. You always lose that one game. You always lose that one game that's going to take you out of it. You can never win the SEC championship because somebody's standing in your way. Over the last few years, the Georgia Bulldogs have a 75-5 record against everyone who has not participated in a national championship from the SEC. 75-5. The 5 teams that they have played, that eventually played in the national championship, 0-5. You just can't win those games. And unfortunately, a lot of that is Alabama. Alabama has been doing the job for so long that, they have the great Satan. They have the great Nick Saban, who just cannot be beaten. And especially is not going to be beaten by one of his former cronies.
Well, and that happened
Smart.
For the first time this year.
It did.
Jimbo Fisher broke the curse of assistants beating Alabama. There's one stat in this game that I cannot get away from.
Okay.
I'm big into analytics.
Yep.
I'm the analytics guy. What do you think these two teams' passer ratings are in a clean pocket?
Passer ratings in a clean pocket. I'd say they're pretty high.
Georgia's is 126.6.
Okay.
Alabama's is 129.7. And now you think, there's a big discrepancy between these quarterbacks. And you're right, because it comes in the second thing I'm getting ready to say. What is their quarterback rating, or passer rating, under pressure?
Let me guess. Alabama's is 116.
You're too high, but not by much. It's 102.6.
102.6.
It's one of the highest numbers I've ever seen.
Okay. Stetson Bennett's has to be 75.
49.9.
It's even worse than I thought.
That's the difference. Because the best player in this game, and nobody's going to convince me different of this, the best player in this game is Will Anderson.
Will Anderson
will be the number one pick in the draft next year. If he's not, Bryce Young will be. These two classes, very close. There will be 7 Georgia Bulldogs, or 7 Alabama Crimson Tide members that go in the first 2 days of the draft this year. There'll be 8 Georgia Bulldogs. Draftable grade, I think I've got 20 on Alabama and 18 for Georgia. The talent is very close. The difference is these two teams are going to get after the quarterbacks. And I believe in Bryce Young under pressure. I don't believe in Stetson Bennett.
You hope they're going to get pressure on the quarterback.
Oh, I think both of you will get pressure.
Was not something that Georgia was able to do in the SEC championship game. I mean, that vaunted historic defense that Georgia had in the SEC championship game, they were neutralized.
They were neutralized for a reason, because you know exactly what Saban's going to do. Mm-hmm. Your best player at the end of the day, you can give me all the things about Nakobe Dean, and I like Nakobe Dean. He's an undersized off-ball linebacker. Not having Adam Anderson hurts a lot.
Yes, but screw that guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's going through legal things.
Right, exactly.
We don't talk about legal things on this show. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a cop.
Right, you're done. I'm not even focused on you anymore.
The best player on that defense is Jordan Davis. Mm-hmm. And Alabama figured out how to neutralize him, because you can't put him on the field. Yeah. Because you know exactly what's going to happen. If you put Jordan Davis in the middle of this field, they're going to run tempo every single time. Mm-hmm. He can't get off the field quick enough, and he can't play that many snaps in a row. Now, how do I think you circumvent that? I won't be shocked if his snap rate tonight is 40% at highest. Because I think Kirby Smart looks at this and goes, I know exactly what you did last time. And I've got enough defensive line depth here with Trayvon Walker and just the slew of guys. Mm-hmm. One thing Georgia's not bereft of, members of the defensive line to put out there.
Right.
I could easily see a path where we see a lot of takes of Jordan Davis on the sideline with his helmet on, waiting to go back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see four, I'm not going to say they're all premier pass rushers. This is, and am I spitballing here a little bit? A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm looking at this of how would I counteract what I saw in the SEC championship game. I've looked at the depth chart. You have 4 pass rushers that can play in the front of that defense. And at the end of the day, are you going to sit here and run Brian Robinson on me all night? Because I don't think you will.
No.
I don't.
I mean, you're not going to go very far if you're going to try to.
And so you funnel at the right side of that line. Evan Neal, probably going to be the number 1 pick in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
My first 7-round mock draft comes out later this week. My number 1 pick is Evan Neal going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The right side of that line is not good. It is a penalty waiting to happen, and it hasn't mattered who's over there. That line's not as good as everybody makes it out to be. I think this game is markedly closer than people believe it will be. It seems to be that a lot of the public connotation here is that Georgia's going to come in and they're going to run off the field exactly like they did in the SEC championship game. The one thing that you always have to take with a team that's this talented and this competitive, they have more than one way to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
If Georgia thinks they're going to get into a shootout with Stetson Bennett, out. Seacrest, out. You will lose that 100 times out of 100.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what can you do? You go at Nick Saban the exact same way he went at you. Run tempo. You have 100 running backs. You have 2 of my top 10 in this draft class.
Right.
That's how you win this game. You tempo Nick Saban. He struggled with it for years. He was the loudest detractor of how things worked when Chip Kelly started doing this and started manipulating the clock and never huddling ever.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, he still has that problem.
The question I have about this game is, how do you take away the advantage that Alabama has with Nick Saban?
The coaching advantage?
Right.
You're not
you
going
can't.
to.
You right. And you can't really neutralize it. Is there some system that we haven't seen that Georgia has in their back pocket to throw out there against Nick Saban? Because, I mean, he has shown time after time in all of these games, all of these major games that Alabama and Georgia have faced off against each other in the national championship game. You remember what happened in the national championship game? They had them flummoxed. Georgia was just walking away with it in the first half.
And then
Nick Saban went, hey, I am the greatest coach of all time. I will make the ultimate adjustment, and I'll do something that you have not planned for. And what did he do? He benched Jalen Hurts and brings in Tua Tagovailoa, and immediately the defense is like, what just happened? We have no scheme for this. And then what happened the next year? They get in the SEC championship game in 2018. Do you remember how that went down? You remember how they lost that game? They were up by 14 twice.
Mm-hmm.
Twice. You're up 28-14 late in the fourth quarter, and Tua goes down with an injury. And guess what? We got another quarterback we can bring in. It's Jalen Hurts.
Second verse, completely opposite of the first.
Right. And Jalen Hurts came out and led first one was like an 11-minute drive, and then the next one was a quick score, a 2-minute drive right at the end of the game to erase the deficit and give Alabama the win. He is a mastermind. And he is not going to be outdone by Kirby Smart. Like, is there and I was reading one article about that a coach had written up about the SEC championship game a few weeks back. Of course, Nick Saban pulled out that offensive performance, or Bill O'Brien pulled out that offensive game plan for the second half because they knew exactly what Georgia was going to do. Every play they ran, there was either no motion or there was a pre-snap motion by the defense that tipped off Bryce Young about what was getting ready to happen on the field. He knew every time they were going to be in zone coverage, every time, and he picked them apart.
The question that you asked was, is there anything you can do to circumvent the coaching advantage? No. Because the adjustment, I have no idea what the adjustment's going to be. I feel very certain I know what I'm going to see from Georgia coming out. Their objective is going to be to do two things. One is run, and I could very easily see you doing that a lot. Because that's what happened to you in the SEC title game. You got away from that. What percentage of plays do you think that Georgia runs are passes? For the season.
Oh, for the season? I don't know, 28%?
That's
38%?
Way too low.
Okay.
It's 42.
Okay.
42 and some change. You run 57+% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You put the ball in Stetson Bennett's hands, and he did exactly what Stetson Bennett's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one player, and he's a guy that doesn't get enough hype to me. It's Brock Bowers.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Bowers is the one guy I look at and go, if there's one thing that Alabama really doesn't do well, and it's been a constant problem for Alabama for years, their linebackers do not cover well.
Nope.
And never have. I could see him being the X factor of this game. And that's a lot to put on a 19-year-old true freshman.
I would love for you to come over here and see the notes that I have jotted down, because that's exactly what I have down. The one guy that they could hurt Alabama with would be Brock Bowers. I mean, he has been unbelievable in his freshman year. He is going to be a superstar.
Oh, he's going to be a first-round pick.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. This is how good Brock Bowers actually is. I love the tight end class that we're getting ready to draft in the 2022 NFL draft. Brock Bowers would go number one right now of them. He would go ahead of Trey McBride. He would go ahead of Weidermeyer from Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
He is a complete three-down tight end in the NFL.
Yes, he is. And he's very fun to watch. And he makes great plays.
And I look at Christian Harris and I go, that's the one place I think I can pick on you. I think I can pick on you with him. Now, the question is, what happens from there? You're going to get an adjustment. And that's exactly how I think this game's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I very easily could see Georgia up 14-0 in the first 10 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
Nick Saban makes the adjustment.
Because I feel like they can beat you a slew of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can beat them two ways.
Yes.
And when they adjust to it, I just don't think there's anything else there. I think you're going to see a lot of different alignments defensively from Kirby Smart. At the end of the day, Kirby Smart's a smart defensive guy.
Mm-hmm.
He got here for a reason. And that's one thing that I've heard the entire lead up to this. And you do realize he got here by learning at the hand of Nick Saban.
Yes.
I think this game's way closer than people believe.
Of course it's close. I'm sorry if I've given you the impression that I feel like Georgia is going to go out there and they're going to get, road stomped tonight. That's not going to happen. I don't believe that any shape, form, or fashion that's what's going to happen. But what I do believe in is history, and that we can learn from history. And what history has taught us is that at every time Georgia and Alabama get together, this is how it goes. Georgia comes out. They give you all the hope in the world. They get out to a SEC championship game. Got out to a 10-point lead. Then what happened? They figured it out. After the first quarter, it was 10-0. Do you know how many yards Alabama had in the first quarter?
It was not many.
46. 46 yards of offense in the first quarter. And I went, we're going to walk through this. But, I let myself forget. Nick Saban's on the other side. And guess what? He knows every adjustment to make because he's been around the block too many times. I mean, this is a guy who's won, 6 national titles at Alabama? And this is how this is going to go. Georgia will come out, they'll get up to a lead, and then Nick Saban will kick in the perfect game plan, and Kirby won't be able to adjust on the fly.
See, for me, I steer directly into you look up and down the Alabama roster. There's not a lot of holes there. But there's one thing that I can't get away from, and in the next segment we'll talk about what that is because I think it's the one path to righteousness that Georgia has.
Mm-hmm. You
have to bait them into doing exactly what it is they don't want to do. And there's a way to do that.
Yep. You're here in the Sportsocracy, here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Will history repeat itself? Will Alabama win another national title? And will they do it just because Georgia can't hang with them? They've closed the gap in recent years, but it's still Alabama.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder for us here tonight, mainly clear skies, still a bit windy out there with a gusty west to northwest wind, although winds are decreasing as we head through the night tonight. Temperatures all the way down to near 19 overnight. Mostly sunny skies for us as we head through the day on Tuesday. Less wind, highs low 40s. Clear skies, low 20s Tuesday night. Sunshine Wednesday with an afternoon high in the low 50s. I'm Ken Boone from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 26 eastbound between Brevard Road and the French Broad River. Earlier accident on the eastbound side. Westbound side of 26 light delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and the French Broad River. Brevard Road northbound is stop and go between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Clayton Road, heavy delays between Long Shoals Road and Brevard Road. On the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic is moving well, and Hendersonville Road moving problem-free. Sweeten Creek Road southbound delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
Compassion International has a network of over 300 church partners in Haiti, poised to bring critical relief to those suffering because of the recent earthquake. Make your $40 one-time gift now by texting the keyword radio to 97646.
I stay very active. For my 40th birthday, I ran a 50-mile race, and to train for that, I was running about 70 miles a week. But over the years, that's deteriorated to a point where even running a mile, my knee would swell, and the pain that I would have would sideline me for several days.
That's Shane Mosney's story that led him to QC Kinetics.
I elected to choose a combination regenerative therapy that helps my knee regenerate to a point where I'm able to get out and start running again. But more importantly, I left there with a lot of hope.
QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments boost your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery.
Those guys have given me back a part of my life that was deteriorating. I just ran my first 10K since my therapy, so I'm trying to pick a good half marathon to run, but my goal is to run another marathon, yes.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics. 333-9517.
What are your 2022 business goals? Simplified IT? More security? Dell Technologies has the expertise to help you, from transforming your digital workspaces to providing comprehensive end-to-end IT solutions. Get high-performance computers featuring Windows 11 Pro with powerful hardware-based security and savings up to 45% during Dell's New Year event sale. Get special financing through Dell Financial Services. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Welcome back to the quickest podcast ever, brought to you by Kohl's.
Today's topic,
exercise.
You know, the right gear makes all the difference.
Sure does, which is why I went to Kohl's and got an Adidas hoodie for my husband and some Under Armour gear for myself.
Is shopping your cardio?
More like my motivation. I also picked up some Nike sneakers for my son.
Oh, family workouts.
That's the goal. Select styles. Coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Here in Beer City, we take homegrown seriously. And since 2012, Wicked Weed Brewing has been pushing the boundaries of the industry. They've not only created staples like the Freak of Nature Double IPA, the Lieutenant Dank, and Pernicious, but they also opened the first sour beer tap room on the East Coast. Wicked Weed has also supported our local community to the tune of $1.6 million with the Beers That Build program. Visit one of their 4 locations, schedule a brewery tour, or place an order for pickup or delivery. WickedWeedBrewing.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
It's ESPN Asheville. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene is alongside. Second hour of the program always brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. Check them out at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different. Many Wicked Weed beers need to be on tap tonight for me to just prepare. To just prepare for what is about to happen.
Oh, I've got the dragon fruit waiting. Oh, it's going to be, for me, it's going to be quite comfortable just sitting back.
The watermelon dragon fruit sour.
Knowing full well what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. And that is that I will be crowned the reigning, defending champion.
You're just not going to give that up, are you?
Oh, no. Oh, no, because I'm going to convince you. Mm-hmm. I have 36 minutes left to convince you to do the right thing. And that is, we put it all on the line here. We don't do ties here, okay? We don't. There are no ties. There has to be a winner, and there has to be a loser.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the ultimate, it would be the ultimate trump card for you. If you not only won a national title, but you beat me in the process, that is the path to righteousness, is that I'm giving you an opportunity that's very rare. Because very rarely do people get the opportunity to double beat me. And you have that opportunity. All you have to do.
You see, this is why Jeremy does the sales things.
Is take your Georgia Bulldogs. Could it go badly? Sure.
Of course it can.
But you were supposed to lose to Alabama anyway. And you were supposed to lose to me and beat the Chief anyway.
Well, not according to Vegas. According to Vegas, Georgia's the favorite here. Yeah. Explain that to me. How does Georgia become the 3-point favorite? Is this just Vegas baiting everybody into it, or they actually believe things are different?
There's a piece of that. Vegas has had these teams as 1 and 2 in the power rankings all year long. It's never changed. After the A&M loss for Alabama, it didn't change. After the SEC title game loss for Georgia, it didn't change. They've been 1-2 the entire time. And at the end of the day, are they baiting people? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. To get real fired up on Alabama and take them plus the 3.
Right.
It's the reason I will have less doubloons on this game than you think, but I do believe Alabama's going to win because of the last adjustment. Because for me, I'm looking at this sheerly, all right, let's say somehow I trade bodies with Kirby Smart. What am I doing to mitigate your advantages? Because defensively, I have the advantage. I have the better defense. I have the more talented defense. You have the more talented quarterback. And you've got Jamison Williams and Slade Bolden and this just slew of receivers. But you're not very deep. And so I feel like you're going to come in with an intention of, if Jordan Davis is not on the field, you've taken him out, and now you're going to try to run at me. How many scholarship running backs does Alabama have?
4.
It's 2. It's Brian Robinson, who's had injury issues all year long, and Trey Saunders, who has not been particularly good. For me, this is how I picked Alabama. Because the way that I'm going to beat you, if I'm Georgia, is I'm going to bait you into doing exactly what you don't want to do. I'm not going to let Bryce Young beat me. You want to try to run at me like you did Cincinnati? I don't think you can. I don't think you're going to run Brian Robinson at me 35 times and beat me the way that I'm going to mandate you to beat me.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, Bryce Young is a second-year quarterback, and I think I can convince him to get impatient. I'm not going to beat Nick. I know that definitively. She's the greatest coach in the history of college football, and if you want to argue with me with that, I will literally do it until I'm blue in the face.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to out-scheme him.
But what I can do is I can prey on the fact you have a young quarterback that's really talented, and I know full well he doesn't want to run.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest drawback to me of Bryce Young is how outspoken he has been, that he doesn't want to run. Okay. Well, that's how you're going to beat me. Because I'm going to send 4 pass rushers at you on every single play. Jordan Davis, you're not beating me that way again. You are not going to get him on the field and me be unable to get him off. It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a great pass rusher. And so what do? I bait you into throwing at me. I stack the box, and I go, okay, Bryce, I have plenty of corners here.
Yeah.
Is Jamison Williams, is he a great receiver? He is. He's also a hothead.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a real big hothead. Mm-hmm. And when people get in his face, he gets a little snippy.
Yep.
So what am I going to do? I'm going to press you on every single play.
No doubt.
I'm going to put the safety over the top, and I'm going to try to get in your head. Because they don't really have it. With no Mechie, there's not another receiver on this team that I look at and go, well, you're going to beat me one-on-one. You're going to have 4 guys in the secondary drafted in this draft. This is a team that, heads up, can play with Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is 2 things that I can't get away from. One is how bad Stetson Bennett has been under pressure. I talked about that in the first segment. The other thing is the loser's mentality that you have seemed to have throughout this entire thing. Talking to you all day, they've already beaten you. That is how it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
It is how it sounds from every single Georgia fan.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm Kirby Smart, and I don't like this, I never have liked this, I'm going to become the biggest Johnny Rah-Rah cheerleader there's ever been in my life. Of nobody believes in you.
Yep.
It's really hard to do when you're a 3-point favorite. But
yeah.
Maybe put a filter on the Wi-Fi. If anybody that searches Vegas, just it kicks back a smiley face.
There's a ton of truth in what you say, and they know it. They know it. They know that every Bulldogs fan is going into today going, yeah, we hope we win. And if you're there, I mean, you know, you're not going to see any doubt from the fans that are going to make the trips and all the guys in there, you know, the guys who paint their bodies red and have GEORGIA across their fronts, and they've got the spiked, Road Warriors pads on and all that. I'm talking about the fans at home. The fans at home and the fans who have been through this time and time and time again. You get so close, and then I got a friend who's a Georgia guy. He's an Atlanta Braves fan, Atlanta Falcons fan, Georgia Bulldogs fan, and he always keeps sending me the same meme. And he did it again when I asked him, how you feel about us going to the Natty? And it was the little gif of Lucy pulling the football from Charlie Brown every time.
Well, and here's the thing. This is what you have to remember. None of those things have anything to do with what's going to happen tonight.
No, of course they don't.
Nothing.
Of course they don't, but you have to tell that team. You have to make sure that you shield the guys from that because it's out there. And every Georgia fan who's lived through this is in the same boat as I am. We have a good team. We have a great team.
This is the first time I genuinely feel like talent for talent, you can line up with them and you have as many advantages, if not more.
Maybe so. But it is that loser's mentality. It's hard to come back from a loser's mentality. I have a loser's mentality, say, about my health. That's why I'm going to PhD weight loss. PhD weight loss is helping me get healthier and helping me to try to achieve something that I've never achieved before. When I sat down for my initial consultation, Jeremy and I both did, with PhD weight loss, we sat down with Dr. Ashley Lucas, and she told us how much weight she wanted us to lose. Combined, Jeremy and I need to lose can lose 200 pounds on our program with PhD weight loss. I have the majority of that because I am a short little dumpy guy who's always been a short little dumpy guy. And yes, I gave her the quizzical look of, you want me to lose how much weight? Because I've never done it before. But PhD is giving me all the tools to do so. In the first 6 weeks of the program, since the Monday before Thanksgiving, I've lost 21 pounds in my scale. I can't wait to go in for my appointment this week for my weigh-in to see how many pounds I've lost this week, because each and every week I am losing weight. I'm losing fat, and I'm gonna get to my goal. Dr. Ashley Lucas has made me believe I'm going to get to my goal. But until I can actually see it happen, much like Georgia winning a national championship, I don't know that I can truly believe in it. If you're in the same boat as me, you're in the same boat as Jeremy, that you need to lose some pounds, you need to get with PhD Weight Loss today. Go to myphdweightloss.com. They will teach you how to make better decisions for your health. How do you eat and do better when it comes to the nutrition that you are putting in your body. myphdweightloss.com. All right, let's get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, Jeremy, you said you had a hard time coming up with a weird story today?
I did, but I found one.
You did?
I did.
All right. I'll let you tell yours in just a second. I had a little tough time as well, but I thought it's a great time to bring up one of your former employers here on the program, the good old United States Postal Service.
Indeed.
Giving you great service as always and making sure that, your important communications are always delivered on time. Just last week, there was a letter delivered that many thought would never come. In fact, the person waiting on it has been dead for a long time. This was a letter that was penned by U.S. Army Sergeant John Gonzalez. He wrote it to his mother as he was serving over in Germany. Yep. It was that war. He was serving over there and wrote the letter on December the 6th, 1945, and 76 years later, it was finally delivered. They had to do some digging, though. When they discovered that the letter was, I have no idea. There's no story about where they found the letter or what, archaic mode of transportation it was stuck to the inside wall of, but a letter from 1945 ended up finding its way to a distribution center in Pittsburgh, and they had to do some digging because John had written the letter to his mother, who has been long dead. In fact, John's been dead since 2015. They did, though, find his widow and delivered the letter to her. Of course, she was thrilled to see the letter and thought it was, it's like he has come back to me in some shape, form, or fashion. After all of these years, she is 90 years old, and you can imagine how she felt when she got the letter that was addressed to her late husband's mother that says, I'm fine, getting along okay, was glad to get your letter. So far, the food's pretty lousy most of the time. Love and kisses, your son, Johnny. I'll be seeing you very soon, I hope. It's a very short and sweet letter that was written 76 years ago and finally delivered through the United States Postal Service. How does that even happen? How do you lose a letter for 76 years and just, hey, look what I found?
That's actually about the delivery rate of the United States Postal. I don't work for him anymore. I can make jokes.
He didn't pay for priority shipping. I guess that's what it was.
But they're wonderful people. And you know what? I make the same PSA every time we do a mail story. All right, be nice to your mail person. All right? They deal with a lot of crap. Just be nice to them. Okay, if you see them on your Ring doorbell and maybe they don't, just gently put a pillow underneath your package. Okay, just get a life. Okay. Look, we have a lot of people that work at the post office still listen to this show, and I will defend them until my dying day. Speaking of things that I thought would happen until their dying day, I thought Nature Boy Ric Flair would be a Georgia Bulldog backer until his dying day.
Yeah.
But apparently not, because he has put out his pick for tonight, and it's the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Of course.
This all comes... Do you know what this is from? I don't know if you heard the story or not. So Ric Flair got in his feelings at the SEC championship game.
Okay.
Because he was on the sideline, standing next to Herschel Walker, and apparently Kirby Smart didn't shake his hand. Because apparently, limousine riding, jet plane flying, woo, Nature Boy is a little sensitive. Because he gets his feelings hurt real easy.
Well.
When they played Michigan in the college football playoff semifinal, he wrote on Twitter, "Sorry, at Kirby Smart, Georgia, you should have shook my hand on the sidelines when I was standing next to at Herschel Walker in Athens. Today it's all blue. At Coach Jim for UM has been shaking my hand since 1989. Go blue." Well, today on Twitter, at Ric Flair Nature Boy, who's shocked that that's his Twitter handle.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you know who the Nature Boy and Broadway Joe are pulling for. Roll Tide. Woo! It's the worst Photoshop job I have ever seen in my life. It's a picture of Joe and Ric Flair. Now, this picture could be real. You just would have had to have taken it. But he didn't.
Corona. You can't get those two old guys together. It's Corona time.
Okay, like Nate. All right? If you need somebody to do Photoshop things for you, give me a call.
Jeremy will do them.
Give me a call. There's some blending needs to be done in the picture.
Rick's still dealing with Microsoft Paint. He's getting the final touches on it.
I'm not going to lie. That looks like it was done by Tank Spencer in Microsoft Paint.
Yes.
I'm sharing it on my Twitter right now, at Greene ESPN.
Yeah.
Or no. That's a lie. My Twitter handle is not at Greene ESPN anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
New year, new Twitter handle. Now, at the Flostradamus.
The Flostradamus.
No W. At the Flostradamus. It's draft time.
No W. Oh, so it's FLO?
Yeah. Because somebody had the Flostradamus. Well, first of all, the Flostradamus is too many letters.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody had Flostradamus with a W, and I offered them what I thought to be a very decent amount for that. And they're 6 followers.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to take me up on my offer.
Wow.
That, or they deleted Twitter and now they don't check.
What'd you say? I'll give you $5 and a free hat.
I will give you a $25 O'Charlie's gift card. Because I don't. Is there still
there's people who still go there. Yeah, there was a great discussion about it on Wax over the weekend, which is weird why you brought it up.
Yeah, because I don't do that at all.
You don't do wax?
No.
Oh, gosh.
No. I don't do any of those things. I did, however, post a graphic on our social media channels over the weekend, and it created a great debate.
By the way, wax is not drugs. That is the West Asheville Exchange on Facebook. That's the little local community group where everybody gets together and complains about stuff.
Yeah, and see, that's why I can't do it. Is because, like, if you just went and encourage people to do things, then all for it. And I'm totally fine with you doing it. They really clog up your timeline, and I just can't even do that. It's just okay. It's really, I can't.
So Ric Flair is petty in his old age. Who's shocked?
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
Nobody's shocked. Nobody's shocked at all. We did get this in. Fun fact of the day, by the way: Matt Rule against the coaches who got fired in the NFL today. 0-5 record. Wanted to throw that out there for all the Carolina Panther fans who are scratching their heads today going, why are we doing Matt Rule for another year? Yeah, all the coaches that just got fired today, he's never beaten any of them. Fun stuff. The national championship game tonight in Indianapolis at 8 o'clock. What can Georgia do to get over the hump with Alabama and Nick Saban? I feel like it's going to be an easier job now that John Mechie is not a thing anymore, and now you can game plan for that. I believe that Georgia has enough ability. They have enough players on the defensive secondary to be able to double team Jamison Williams and maybe limit what he can do. Because I don't really buy into any of the other wide receivers that they have. I mean, they're not game breakers.
You should. They still have players.
Oh, I know they do. I mean, of course, it's Alabama.
They still have players.
Of course you do.
And most of them
but
are
you
just
say the same
young
thing
guys.
about Georgia. I mean, they can rotate in and out 5-star, 4-star guys here and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be easy. But what I'm saying is it's going to be not as tough. How about that? John Mechie just does so many different things. And I feel like that's going to be one thing that they can focus on. Because they're not going to be able to run the ball against you. Alabama will not be able to run the ball like they did against Cincinnati against this Georgia defense. The Achilles heel, though, is the secondary. How do you keep Bryce Young at bay? Are you going to be able to get pressure on Bryce Young where you couldn't in the SEC championship game? I would contend you got to blitz more. I think they blitzed 16% of the time, 16% of the snaps in the SEC championship game, and did not register a single sack in the game. You're playing from behind. They were firing away. How do you get that pressure?
Oh, and they're going to have to send guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt. You're going to have to send heat at Bryce Young, try to get him off his spot, try to get him out of the pocket. There's a reason he doesn't want to scramble. I cannot for the life of me figure out what it is, because he actually does it really well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever noticed that every game Alabama does, they invariably have to mention 6 or 7 times how bad Bryce Young hates running?
Mm-hmm.
Is that not weird to you?
You know who loves to run? Stetson Bennett.
Cowboy Hat Bennett. Pew, pew, pew.
Oh, gosh.
I've been waiting to do that. I waited for an hour and 42 minutes to do that.
The old mailman, Stetson Bennett. The former walk-on that just, I mean, he plays great against really bad teams. He plays good against everybody else.
Overly talented. At the end of the day, you had a quarterback on that. If JT Daniels is playing this game, and look, I'm not sitting here claiming that he is infallible. He's got a big arm, and I think this is the same mistake that Kirby Smart made a handful of years ago with Jake Fromm.
Mm-hmm.
You had Justin Fields, who was a much more prodigious talent, and Jake Fromm, when you got to the biggest stage, he couldn't do it. I look at Jake Fromm and Stetson Bennett as very equivalent players. They're both incredibly high football IQ guys.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you're not overly physically talented.
No.
And you get into a game like this, and I'm looking at it going, the secondary for Alabama is killed. There's no Josh Jobe in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Armour Davis has had some times of being a little grabby. I still like him as a corner. They only have 4 scholarship corners in this game. If you had somebody like JT Daniels that could attack you downfield, I would feel different. You don't, and neither do I.
Well, I mean, Stetson can attack you down the field.
Not this team. He can't. Not this team. He can't. I'm just telling you.
I was going to say his arm may not be as strong as JT Daniels, but he is very accurate, and he can sling it a long way. What?
I'm just reading through the chat that has basically started a mantra of take the tiebreaker. Do it.
Take the tiebreaker.
Stephen Towle just posted in our group thread.
I'm your huckleberry.
Take the tiebreaker. Oh, here's the thing. Here's what I didn't expect. I didn't expect everybody in the comments to turn on you, but they have.
No.
And if they don't, or if you don't.
If I don't, yeah.
You will never hear the end of this.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, and you don't look any more resigned to doing it than you did an hour and 45 minutes ago.
I'm not, because everything in my head tells me Alabama should be the favorite in this game. Why, when you're picking spreads? I mean, I've seen a lot of the, stand by your team, Tank. I mean, I'm going to root for them to win, but I can't honestly stand here and tell you that I believe that they're going to win tonight if I don't believe that they're going to win tonight.
And here's the thing. I believe the loyal constituency of this here program has spoken. They don't care if you think Georgia can win. They really just don't care if you think they're going to win.
I know everybody loves you more than they love me, and they just want to see me lose.
Oh, that's not even kind of true.
That's what it's all about.
They want to see me lose. Because there's a lot of them that think Georgia's going to win, and they would love to see you with that in hand.
Yeah. Well, I am really glad. I'm really glad that you've got that kind of faith in this team, but I just don't know. I don't know that I can go there with you. Because at every big advantage, I think Alabama takes it. I think Alabama has all of the major advantages that you need to win a national championship.
Well, here's the thing. 5 on it. It's been on fire. 10-2 since we started this segment.
Yep.
And this game is one of the picks. If you started with me when we started this, the premise of this segment is I am taking $500 fictitious dollars, and over the course of this season, I am going to turn it into $5,000 After 4 days, my $500 bankroll has ballooned all the way up to $758.26. All you had to do to make that money, go to betus.com, use promo code SPORTSOCRACY. They will match your initial deposit up to $2,500 at 125%. What that means is if you put in $100, they will give you $125 in free play tokens, and you can use it on the slew of games that I'm playing. I'm all over the board tonight. I got a $25, I got a $50, and I got a $100. The $25 wager, I'm taking the over 52.5. I do think these two, the defenses are good, and that's what's keeping the number down. 52.5 is a low college football number, especially for two offenses that are this talented. I don't think it's going to blaze through it. I think this is one that you're going to see hit about halfway through the fourth quarter. My final score in this game is going to be 30-24 Alabama. That would go over the 52.5. I've got 25 on over 52.5. In college basketball tonight, Oregon is only a 4.5-point favorite at Oregon State. Do you know how many games Oregon State's won this year? They're 3-10. 2 of their wins are against Wright State and some very small school that I have never heard of before, and a Utah team that they squeaked a win out against that Oregon just beat by 11 billion. Oregon has not started particularly well, but hitting the Pac-12 schedule, I think they're going to hit their stride. That's still a tournament team to me. I got 50 on Oregon minus the 4.5 at Oregon State. And finally, you know I've got to do it. You know I got to do it.
Don't hit that. Gosh almighty.
Tonight, the national championship game features the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs. Alabama, you're actually getting the money line at plus 120. I got 100 on the Alabama Crimson Tide plus the 120.
Oh, nobody's shocked.
I'm hoping one more time of doing this will convince you to listen to the masses and take your Bulldogs and make this a winner-take-all national championship game.
Oh, man. It's coming up at 8 o'clock tonight. It is, it's going to be another one for the Bucs. I don't think this is going to be another 41-24 game. The last 2 games have been Alabama beatdowns of the Georgia Bulldogs. And they're going to bring everything they have. And they're going to be, there could be secret plays. There could be all kinds of things. What?
The chat is just dragging you, and it's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. This is infinitely better than anything I could have ever said. Chuck G, fortune favors the bold. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, etc., etc., etc.
Well, it's time for a break here in the Sportsocracy. ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstate's moving problem-free on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic volume busy and steady. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road, light delays. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road southbound, stop and go between Clayton Road and Long Shoals Road. Clayton Road northbound is stop and go between Long Shoals Road and Bavard Road. East of Waynesville in Haywood County, NC 215 Old River Road near Wilmore Road. An accident here does have one northbound lane closed. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
What's that? Oh, you hate your job. Well, just spreak up a little. Right, not speak up. Spreak up. You know, if you have something to say, you have a passion you could spend hours talking about every day, if you've always fantasized about doing a podcast, you just have to spreak up. That's what we call it over at Spreaker.com. S-P-R-E-A-K-E-R for my heart. It's the easiest way to podcast and get paid for it. So, you know, spreak up. Spreak for yourself. Spreak your mind. Spreak now or forever hold your peace. Spreaker.com.
Hey, it's Tank Spencer, host of the Sportsocracy. It's a new year, and Jeremy and I are taking on a new challenge. We're teaming up with PhD Weight Loss to get healthier in 2022.
When the opportunity presented itself with PhD, Tank and I knew we could stand to lose a few pounds.
A few? Really?
Okay, it's a lot. Our combined weight loss goal is 200 pounds. But when we sat down with Dr. Ashley Lucas, she told us just how attainable those goals could be. During our initial consultation, we were impressed by her enthusiasm for our success. And the biggest upside is the convenience.
This plan is so easy it can fit into the most hectic of schedules. They even have an option where you can do the program 100% over the phone. I've tried numerous diet plans and lifestyle changes, but I've never found one that's this simple. I mean, PhD gives you 80% of the food and the pathway to success. In 1 month, I've lost 19 pounds.
And I've lost 16. If your goal is to get healthier in the new year, join us on our PhD transformation.
Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
Liberty. Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Welcome back to the quickest podcast ever, brought to you by Kohl's.
Today's topic, exercise.
You know, the right gear makes all the difference.
Sure does, which is why I went to Kohl's and got an Adidas hoodie for my husband and some Under Armour gear for myself.
Is shopping your cardio?
More like my motivation. I also picked up some Nike sneakers for my son.
Oh, family workouts.
That's the goal. Select styles. Coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
This week at Ingalls, select sizes and varieties Cheez-It crackers, 2 for $6. Select sizes and varieties Dunkin' Bag or K-Cup coffee, $4.98 each. And select sizes and varieties General Mills cereal, 2 for $5. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Dirty perky shark back flat. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. Shark back flat.
Good. Let the hate flow through you.
The NFL regular season officially ended yesterday. And who's shocked that I'm mad about something?
No. This is not your I'm mad. This is my I'm mad. I am mad. I have been a Georgia fan. Granted, I wasn't born into this like most of my sports allegiances, but this has been 20 years in the making. And in the last 10 years alone, I have seen Nick Saban take my team to the woodshed time and time and time again. And I'm sick and gosh darn tired of it. And it's not going to happen tonight. I'm taking you wanted the bet? You got the bet.
Yeah!
You got the bet. Just like Ric Flair once said, to beat the man, you got to be, or to be the man, you got to beat the man.
To be the man, you got to get the saying right.
That's right. You got to get the saying right. And I'm going to get it right. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And there ain't no other way to be the man in college football or to be the man in the SEC until you take down Nick Saban and Alabama. It has been 7 times in a row. It is not going to happen tonight. I'm going to take your bet, and we are going to put it all on the line tonight, right here in Indianapolis, and we are going to do this. Beat the Chief is on the line now, and Georgia is going to beat the Alabama Crimson Tide tonight. They are going to cover the 3. We will put it on the line right now. I am sick and tired of this fair weather fan. I'm not a fair weather fan. I stick tried and true with my teams where they're winning or they're losing. And just because they lose most of the time doesn't mean I'm going to give up on them when my back is against the wall. So you got it, buddy.
It's the
on.
greatest underdog story
It
ever.
is on
it's
tonight.
Goliath. It's on the little guy, the little scrappy underdog, and pew pew.
And I got something for you. I have heard well enough of that just awful song. We are going to be Go Dogs Go. Let's get it tonight in the national championship game. It's going to be 38-36 all the way down to the wire, and it's going to be pretty boy mailman Stetson Bennett just putting it right in your heart, Nick Saban, and I can't wait.
And since you took my little game of doom and despair here, I'll go one step further.
Oh.
I'll give you the 2.5. There will be no tie here. There shall be no tie. 2.5. Alabama plus the 2.5. I'll take them. Alabama, roll tide, national champions.
Not a chance in the world, my friend. We are going to change the fortunes tonight. Everybody in the world is on my side. And in fact, today it has been officially established in the state of Georgia. It is Hunker Down Day. We are doing this for everybody. We are doing this for Larry Munson and Mark Richt and Matt Stafford and No Sean Marino, AJ Greene, Muhammad Massaquoi, all of them. We are winning the national championship tonight.
And tonight, you will see why Jeremy doesn't love Disney movies, because the bad guy always wins.
It's going to be fun. Enjoy the national championship tonight. It is all on the line, my friends. And yes, what a bargaining chip it is going to be. Jeremy just might have to call in sick tomorrow. We will see you right back here tomorrow on ESPN Asheville at 3 o'clock. Go Dogs!
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Colder for us here tonight, mainly clear skies, still a bit windy out there with a gusty west to northwest wind, although winds are decreasing as we head through the night tonight. Temperatures all the way down to near 19 overnight. Mostly sunny skies for us as we head through the day on Tuesday. Less wind, highs low 40s. Clear skies, low 20s Tuesday night. Sunshine Wednesday with an afternoon high in the low 50s. I'm Ken Boone from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
Compassion International has a network of over 300 church partners in Haiti, poised to bring critical relief to those suffering because of the recent earthquake. Make your $40 one-time gift now by texting the keyword radio to 97646.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstate's moving problem-free on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic volume busy and steady. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road, light delays. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road southbound, stop and go between Clayton Road and Long Shoals Road. Clayton Road northbound is stop and go between Long Shoals Road and Bavard Road. East of Waynesville in Haywood County, NC 215 Old River Road near Wilmore Road. An accident here does have one northbound lane closed. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Ozzy.com.
Get smarter every day at Ozzy.com. Try a new news site that tells you about the most interesting people, places, and ideas. Discover the next Obama, or maybe the next LeBron James. Try OZY.com right now. Ozzy, it's like a latte for your mind. Get some.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is